Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be talking about the Jahan Dotson trade that the Washington Commanders made and how Adam Peters, at least so far, has looked like an absolute genius. We'll also talk about some other moves he made this offseason that have looked really good. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really does help out a ton. We're really close to 14,000 subscribers, and less than 50% of you guys who watch the videos are subscribed. So go ahead and do it. And it's still early and things could change for sure. But so far, it's looked like the Washington Commanders trade with the Philadelphia Eagles has been a good one for the Washington Commanders. And I'm not going to lie. When this first happened, I wasn't too excited that the Washington Commanders made this trade, especially to the Eagles. But I did say, it is telling that the Commanders are willing to trade to the Eagles. Whenever you do an in-division trade, usually, it means you're not confident in the player. And I guess that was the case. But still, Jahan Dotson was a talented player. And I was like, you know what? He's not a scheme fit here. But I thought he was going to do well in Philly, to be honest. And so far, he has not. 4 games, 5 receptions, and 25 yards. And before the season started, if you would have told me that, I would have still been surprised. But here's the thing. It's really worse than what it's showing because A.J. Brown has played, one game? One game. A.J. Brown's played one game. Devonta Smith has missed a game. So he had 3 games as the wide receiver 2 and 1 game as a wide receiver 1. And Brenton Coley, or whatever his name is, Covey, one of their other top-ish receivers, was out with an injury this past week as well. And he's only had 5 receptions for 25 yards. And if you're an Eagles fan watching this, hold out hope. He's a talented player. I saw a metric too that showed that he's been one of the better route runners in the league, or at least a better route runner on the Eagles so far this season. So he still can end up being good for you guys, but I don't think he would have been good for the Washington Commanders. And we've gotten guys like Zacchaeus, who the Eagles had last year, and he's had more yards today than Jahan Dotson combined for all season, and 3 times more yards. I mean, Zacchaeus had like 80 yards against the Arizona Cardinals, and before that, he didn't have huge games, but he had some catches. But yeah, 80 yards in this game against the Cardinals, and can return as well for us. And the trade terms, if we want to look back at it, the Commanders got they gave up Jahan Dotson and a 5th round pick for a 2025 3rd round pick. And stay tuned, because that 3rd round pick, it's not their 3rd round pick, it's another team's 3rd round pick, and that is looking like a really good pick so far for the Commanders. And then 2 7th round picks. I guess that is the trade compensation there. So, for a guy that has done nothing, it looks like a good trade, and he could still end up balling out for them. That could happen for sure. But through 4 games, he's on pace for, he has 25 yards. He's on pace for 100 yards on the season. And I'm sure he's going to do better than that over the next, few weeks. I think he'll start to do a little bit better. He's got the bye week, which will help him get acclimated to the offense a little bit more, but still, it has not been good for Jahan Dotson. And I'll say I was wrong when it happened. Like, I didn't hate the move, but I just didn't like them trading to the Eagles. But clearly, Adam Peters knew something and was willing to let Jahan go to the Eagles and let them give up compensation to get him. So good on Adam Peters for being confident in that, because not every GM is going to do that. Some of the GMs that are stuck in their old ways, they might be like, you know what, I'm not going to trade in the division even if we're getting better compensation. But if you're really confident that this player isn't going to succeed, it's better to trade into the division, because then not only do you get draft compensation, you get more draft compensation, but you also hurt the other team if he ends up not being that good. And let's get into the 3rd round pick that I'm talking about that actually looks better for the Washington Commanders. So it's the Miami Dolphins 3rd round pick. And it's currently the 5th overall pick in the 3rd round. So that is very, very good. And the Dolphins, yeah, they've been struggling. They just lost to the Titans, who are a winless team, and now have one win. And Tua is out for 2 more games. So they're they're definitely not going to be what we thought they were going to be, which is like a 10-ish win team, give or take a couple wins. Maybe people thought they were going to win 8, some people thought they're going to win 12. So plus or minus, that 10-ish 10 win mark, 2-ish. So 12 on the high end, which probably would have gotten us like the 23rd, 24th pick in the third round. And then some people maybe thought 8 wins, which probably would have gotten us like the 13th, 14th pick. So right now, it's looking like they're struggling. Even if Tua does come back, which it looks like he's good, which that's great because it's a little bit concerning there. A lot of people want him to retire, and he doesn't look like he's going to retire. He's on the sideline and stuff. He looks good, so he'll be back in 2-ish weeks. But the team looks like they've given up, and they don't really have a chance to make the playoffs. So I would say they're probably going to hover around that 6-win range-ish, which would give the Commanders a top 12-ish third round pick, which is pretty good for Jahan Dotson. And you also get those 2 7th-round picks, and you give up the 5th-round pick. So overall, it could end up being very good value for the Washington Commanders if it continues to trend that way. I mean, we can look at the Miami Dolphins. Like, we can just look at their schedule real quick. I know this is a Commanders channel, but this does have to do with them. So they play the Patriots. I think the Patriots probably win that game, to be honest. It'll be close. The Colts should win that game. Then there's a lot of games right here that it's going to be tough for them to win. Like, even with Tua, not a lot of games you look on this list like, okay, they're going to win that game. Like, maybe this Patriots game, maybe this Raiders game, especially with the Devontae news. Like, not a lot of games. So honestly, I'm looking at like 5-ish wins for them for the rest of the year. Because what do they have right now? They have 1 win. They beat the Jaguars, and that's it. So yeah, they're not looking too good right now. Real quick, so that's kind of the good stuff that Adam Peters has done. One of them, he also traded in the second round with them, and they got Cooper DeJean. But I want to go ahead and go over some of the moves he made this offseason. This is a tweet I put out, and I also put it out a week ago, but just wanted to put it out there again. Some guys that he signed in free agency that have been balling out: Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Nick Allegretti, Zach Ertz, Tyler Biotish, Noah Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus. Also, I don't know how I forgot him. I mean, I did put him in the next comment, but Austin Seibert has been balling out. And there's some other guys that they've been up and down. Like Jeremy Chin had a not so great first week or two, but the last couple weeks I've seen some really good play from him. And there's some other guys as well that you can look at. Jeremy McNichols, solid signing for literally just the minimum, whatever they gave him, and already has probably exceeded what we put into him. And he's going to continue to play for us. And if there's an injury, which, knock on wood, hopefully doesn't happen, but if there is an injury, then you have someone that can step in for an Austin Eckler. And he did step in. And yeah, Bobby Wagner has been good. People have been hating on him the first couple weeks of the season, but I thought, he's been playing pretty well. That's my opinion. Frankie Louvu has been a stud, probably my favorite player on the defense, one of my favorite players on the team. Like, if I had to get a jersey of a guy, it would probably on defense it would be Frankie Louvu. I know that's kind of wild, but I just love the energy he brings and the type of player he is. Like, obviously different position, but gives me like DJ Swearinger type of vibes. If you guys feel that, I don't know. Zach Ertz has been a good veteran. Nick Allegretti's been good. Tyler Biotish has been good. Noah Brown and Zaccheaus have been good veteran receivers in that wide receiver room. And yeah, so I think Adam Peters did a really good job. Some other Dorrance Armstrong, I forgot to put him on the list. He didn't do much the first few games, but this past week had a good game. Clone Farrell as well. So Adam Peters, not a lot of big misses, if any, so far, and a lot of hits. And a lot of these guys aren't going to be back, but the good thing is we signed so many guys that not next year, but the year after that, we could have like 6-7 comp picks from all these guys that we signed, which I think is a really good thing to have in your arsenal. Like, maybe Jeremy Chin doesn't come back. He'll sign a deal if he continues to play well, like he did last week, maybe like a 3-year, $30 million deal or something like that, or 3-year, 25. I don't know what it would look like, but something like that. Maybe Noah Brown signs somewhere, and a lot of these guys would like to bring back. Like I would like to keep, Austin Eckler, maybe Bobby Wagner, some of these other guys. But that's kind of it for today's video. I just want to revisit that Jahan Dotson trade. I'm sure in end of the season, or if this continues, regardless if he balls out or not, I'll make a video recapping it, whether it's good or bad. And Devontae Adams update, we'll talk about that when that needs to be talked about. But just know he requested a trade that just came out before I started recording this video. And maybe the Commanders will be interested, and if that comes out that they are, I will make a video about that, of course. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you stayed till the end, go ahead and comment down below. Let's go just a random guy, but Chris Blewett, who probably the worst kicker I've ever seen. Someone yesterday, I forgot what the name of the guy was, but commented like a really not so great tackle in the 90s. And I didn't even know his name, but that was just really, really bad. And that gave me an idea. Chris Blewett, comment him down below. Yeah, that was just not a good time period for the Commanders there. But then they got Joey Sly. He ends, I think, Brian Johnson or something Johnson, who ended up hitting a game-winning kick against the Raiders, I believe. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.